Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Shadow Whiscash in the Great League. Of course, Great League is currently not available, but because the Halloween Cup is kinda lame, we're gonna take a look at some friendlies here. They don't know what I'm running, I don't know what they are running, but we're going to encounter a Great League there. But we're going to also encounter the first kind of issue with this team, which would be able to change in the future, which is going to be the Glider. Of course, in the future, we're going to have the Awkward Tail on our Quagsire, which might be an interesting move. In general, I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate the Awkward Tail Quagsire. It's just a side grade, of course, towards it, but I feel like it has a lot of potential. But here, we were even able to hit the Stone Edge against the opponent's Glider, allowing us to knock them out. As well as we can still go for a Stone Edge against the opponent's Superior to get them lower, as well as we can align our Pokemon. But I should have waited out a little bit longer here, as I could have definitely waited out 2 more seconds, which would have allowed us to get into our Shadow Whiscash in time here. But as you can see, we can just outspam the opponent here with 2 Mud Bomb Spammer here, which is really cool. Whiscash, of course, having access to the Blizzard, which, spoiler alert, we're going to be able to hit this time around as well in a video or like in one of the games here. But going to have mainly damage output there with the Mud Bomb. I feel like I gonna make another video about Whiscash eventually in the future, where I'm going to run the Water Gun variant. But then again, where's the difference to Water Gun Quagsire? I don't really see the point of having Whiscash. Honestly, I feel like this Pokemon itself is cool. Like, it's cool. It's especially cool for people that want to start into PvP. It's a strong Pokemon. But where's the difference to the Pokemon that we already have here with Quagsire, with Swampert? I feel like it's like literally the third wheel here. So I don't know if it's really the best Pokemon, but we can now take a look at the second game coming up now. This is going to be also an interesting game, as you're going to encounter Marowak here, which you're going to completely destroy with our entire team. And as we have an ABB line here, I wanted to see if the opponent wants to swap out themselves, but they don't. We're going to be able to now wall the opponent's Drapion here as well, which is going to be nice. But again, like Whiscash, it is a cool Pokemon. It's not a bad Pokemon at all. Like, it's definitely something that is solid to use. It's very highly rated on PvPoke, I think like rank 12 or something like this. It might going to be even better in the future because of Clodsire coming up, but it's literally kind of the same as what you have already with Quagsire. You have a little bit of a different coverage with the ice typing, which can be cool. But then again, it also takes quite a long time to get to a Blizzard, where Stone is just a little bit cheaper. So, I don't know. Like, it's a cool Pokemon. Again, like, it's going to be a very strong Pokemon to use. It's definitely something that you should try to get. But it's just not really that unique compared to other Pokemon or like to other Shadow Pokemon as well. So I feel like it's definitely a little bit better than the normal variant though. Here we're gonna get the drop from the opponent as the opponent goes back into their Greninja. Could have tried to go for the 2-shield flex, but I decided to just use my shields here and just Brave Bird the Greninja to win this next game here. Not the final game, it's the second game yet. So this Brave Bird coming through, going to get the 1-shot, and this is going to be it for this one. Boom, so far so good. Moving on to most likely one of the worst possible Pokemon to encounter for this team. It's going to be the Shadow Dragonite. And I honestly expect to see more Shadow Dragonite coming up in the next couple of days, because Cliff has this Pokemon as their main Pokemon that you can encounter. And of course, a lot of people now after the Rocket event kind of want to try out the new Shadow Pokemon that they can get. And honestly, Dragonite is one of the best Dragon Pokemon that you can have for the Great League right now. I don't know why the Mud Bomb was like so gigantic there, but good job Niantic, there were never any bugs. But honestly, this game I cannot throw away, as you're going to see as soon as well. We're going to be able to go for a Mud Bomb fight for us. Actually good that the opponent uses a shield, but I thought that the opponent still needed 3 more fast moves, but they only needed 2. So it's going to force me to use another shield here against the opponent. And sadly, because of this, we're going to see what they're going to run in the back, which is kind of funny, because it's going to be their own Shadow Whiscash. So yeah, again here, those people that are now just using basically their own new Shadow Pokemon that they were able to get during this week is definitely fine. Also, if you're gonna get a decent Shadow Whiscash, you can use it basically in the upcoming Catch Cup, which is going to be amazing. So definitely try to do this there. We're going to be forced to use basically Catch Cup for 1 season. I might actually, like 1 season for 1 week, I might actually stream this week, but I will see then. But yeah, maybe for the Catch Cup I might go ahead and do a stream for every day for it, because I feel like making a video about it is kind of pointless, and I feel like having a stream maybe like the spin the wheel thing, which a lot of people actually enjoyed if you didn't watch the video about this. There are a lot of things that I can improve towards the series as well, so I think I kind of want to make it both format for just normal videos, but also maybe for like a little bit more streaming coming up again. For me, I'm just very busy currently with like just YouTube videos normally, plus university. It's just a little bit awkward to do everything. Basically, I already have a 70-hour week, so it's a little bit tricky to also still do some streams. But here we're going to be able to farm down the opponent's Azumarill, which is kind of nice. We can still take a move from the opponent's Shadow Scissor, which is going to... I wish I would have been able to go for the Stone Edge here, but I didn't think that they would go straight for the move, so I hope that I would have been able to go for 2 Mud Bombs. But still, I'm going to be able to get a shield as well as I can align my Whiscash, and this is not going to be a Trailblazer, as they were a little bit too fast for that, and I can just go for a Mud Bomb here. Get either the knockout or get the final shield here. Let's see what the opponent going to do. They're going to let this move go through, and they're going to have the Dragalge in the back. And you're going to see me here doing a very weird play. And you're going to see it in general here the entire time. The opponent going to go ahead and go for a farm down, which is great for them. At this point of time, I was completely sure that the opponent is going to have still another Pokemon in the back. So this is why I didn't go for the Brave Bird there. I thought I have to overfarm by quite a bit, and I was like, oh man, I threw this game. And here it really felt like that I threw this game because the opponent can still go for another charge move. I was like, going to lose this one now. They still have a Pokemon in the back. I completely didn't see that this was the final Pokemon of this game. So yeah, we win. Still kind of funny though. Moving on to the next game, let's see what they're going to run there. We're going to have a Shadow Spawner. You might think, oh, that's so funny, or like, what a spicy pick. But honestly, this is one of the worst possible Pokemon I could encounter with this team. Because, like, what is my backline going to do against it? The main damaging moves there is going to be ground, so flying type Pokemon going to be a little bit tricky for the backline here. Of course, you have on both Pokemon coverage for it, but getting there is kind of awkward. So here the opponent going to sacrifice a Spawner, but... Again, flying type Pokemon are bad for my backline, and we're going to encounter flying type Pokemon. So it's not really looking too good for us, as we're going to see here the dig coming through from the opponent. We can still go ahead and go for a Stone Edge. This Stone Edge is going to do some decent damage if it lands, and it does land, which is kind of nice. And I can still try to bait the opponent, as they're mostly going to try to go for the full farm down against me. But as you're going to see here, we're going to get a shield, and I can still go for a Mud Bomb. And looking at the Mud Bomb damage, I was like, maybe another Mud Bomb plus a little bit of damage with my fast move might be enough already to knock them out. Let's see if this is going to be actually the case though. We're gonna see here the aerial is coming through from the opponent, and I'm gonna go ahead and stay in here as well. Going to use a shield against the opponent's charge move. Aerial is coming through. I can still try to go for a Mud Bomb. Is this enough to knock them out? Let's find out shortly. It is not, and now I'm going to be forced to swap into my Pidgeot, which is not really the smartest idea in general. And I kinda completely waste this game here. Let's see what they have in the back. Runerigus would have been a decent one for my Pidgeot, but again, I feel like it was just a very awkward matchup. I don't really think I played it completely bad, but a little bit, so good game to the opponent there. I mean, it's Frantis anyway, so like I don't really have to try hard too much here, but I kind of still want to see at least where I can play it a little bit better. Next opponent, horrible lead for us, but a very interesting save swap for us. Something that I didn't know before is they actually 3-shot with Mud Bomb against Lickitung, which is kind of cool. And I'm going to decide to no shield whatever they throw next, because either I'm gonna get a shield here again, or I'm going to be able to get the knockout, or I'm going to be able to get a ton of farm down with my Pidgeot. So let's see what the opponent going to decide to do here. We're going to go for the Mud Bomb, and they're just going to let this move go through, allowing us to basically here get to another Mud Bomb even against the opponent's Frostless, which is really important, by the way. But in general, get the switch advantage, allowing us to allow our Whiscash against the opponent's Frostless, which is kind of cool. So I can go ahead and use a shield here against the opponent's Avalanche. And as I weren't going for an Avalanche yet, the next one going to take 6 fast moves as well, but I think they had some extra energy anyway. But the next one going to take only 5 fast moves, which is exactly the same amount I need to go for my next Mud Bomb as well. So the opponent going to basically outspeed me, which can be a little bit tricky, but they decide to let this move go through. So if they went ahead and used a shield there, I'm fairly certain I would have been able to win this game unless I catch a move, which then would allow me to win the game because they have an Excadrill in the back. So yeah, it was a little bit of a back and forth, but like this, we're going to be able to go for the Tech Drop with the Feather Dance. A Brave Bird would have knocked them out most likely, but they're forced to go for another charge move here. Rock Slide coming through, and even though we're Shadow, even though the opponent is Shadow, and even though they have an insane attack stat, we should be able to still survive it here thanks to the double debuff, and we just barely survive it, and allowing us to go for another charge move here, knocking them out, and winning this game. So let's move on to the next one. Next one coming up here, we're going to have an Obstagoon in the lead. And this game is kinda not telling so much about the team, to be fair, and in general on how the Pokemon play, because they're gonna get the instant boost. Again, it's friendly, so I don't really have to care too much about it. It's still kind of fine, but it's of course a little bit unfortunate and changes so much. Like, it literally changes the entire game plan there. I would have usually used a shield there most likely, but in this case, of course, I don't. And also, I'm forced to use a shield here right now, which is kind of awkward, and I'm still forced to throw a charge move, which is kind of awkward. Like, literally, the game would have been completely different if the opponent didn't get the boost, but I guess 12.5% chance, right? So yeah, we're gonna be forced to stay in here against the opponent's Golbat. I thought of catching the move, but if I catch the move, my Whiscash is going to be debuffed, which is also not really ideal. So I decide to go for the Feather Dance. I swap out, and the opponent going to have a Beedrill in the back. I can go for the Mud Bomb immediately here, trying to hopefully farm them down afterwards, but as you can see, it's not even close to farm down range. So I'm forced to go for another charge move afterwards. I'm deciding to use a shield against the X-Scissor, but it's not really looking too good here, and we can still go for another charge move there, which is going to be okay. But yeah, as said before, it's going to be a little bit of a trickier one here with the opponent still having the Golbat. I try to go for the bait, does work out, but I have to catch the next charge move, and we cannot. Yeah, I basically had to catch a Shadow Ball, otherwise there was no chance of me winning this game. So this is going to be it for this game. Good game to the opponent, and we can move on to the next one. Let's see what they're going to run here. We're going to have the Pidgeot against a Nidoqueen. This is kind of mid-tier for us, kind of okay for us, but we have two very good answers in the back, so I decided to swap out immediately, and we're going to get out the Manabus. And you're going to see a very decent play by me here. I can go straight for the Stone Edge, which is going to two-shot the opponent, but of course, the opponent going to get to another charge move in time, but also they're going to outspeed me. So they're going to go for the Dark Bolts here, getting me kind of low. I think I actually would have been able to survive this move, by the way, because it's just the aerial ace. But what I can do here is I can use a shield, I can overfarm by quite a bit, and I can go for a Mud Bomb first. And now the opponent would be at another charge move, so they're going to go straight for it, and I'm going to go straight for my Stone Edge. So I was able to get a shield, but also I can even get the swap advantage here, the swap advantage, definitely what you say. It's not switch advantage, it's the swap advantage now. But we can still go for a charge move here with the Mud Bomb onto the Quagsire, which is nice for us. We can now see the opponent going for a charge move as well. Going to be the foul play against us, as we can now swap out against the incoming Nidoqueen. I'm kind of fearful here that this might be the Earth Power already, so I decided to use a shield, and it was the Earth Power. Even if it wasn't the Earth Power, because it takes 6 fast moves to go for a Poison Fang. We would have been able to outspeed them anyway, and here I decided to go for the Blizzard just for the memes, and this nearly cost me the game. As you're going to see here right now, we're gonna still be able to go for the Mud Bomb, but they're going to be able to outspeed me, and they can go for the Foul Play. I thought I had way more energy onto my Pidgeot, but I didn't. So if we can survive, we're going to be able to win, and we are going to be able to survive with like 1 HP, man. That was so unnecessary. But yeah, like, if you're going to play Go Battle League with this team, which actually I think I can recommend you, like, I think this team would work out really well. A little bit tricky against Dragonite though, if this is going to be more common. But yeah, basically, yeah, you just go for Mud Bomb. Like, Mud Bomb is all it takes. But here we're going to encounter the, of course, the opponent's Dragonite, which is going to be a little bit awkward. I'm going to try to catch the move, which does work out kind of well. So this is going to be kind of okay for me, because what you actually didn't know is how much damage a double resisted Mud Bomb does against a Shadow Dragonite from a Shadow Quagsire. It actually knocks them out from this range. It's double resisted. It's a flying type Pokemon against like ground type damage. But we don't care here. We're just gonna go for another charge move there as well against the Swampert. Two-shotting them as well if they would basically allow us to do this. But we want to see the opponent gonna go for the Hydro Cannon. I thought now, do I go ahead and go into my Pidgeot and just go for the Brave Bird? Do I go... yeah, I'm not gonna go for the Brave Bird here. I'm gonna decide to go for the other move, for the Feather Dance. And as you can see here, the opponent decides to still stay in. I can stay in, I can go for a shield here, and we can still try to go for the Feather Dance against whatever comes in, and it's going to be the opponent's Salamence. Very interesting, spicy pick there. We have to hope that we can outspeed them. They're double debuffed, but look at the damage of Dragon Tail. And also, it does not really matter, because the Outrage is going to knock us out. So yes, we lose against a Shadow Salamence with this team here, but I feel like it's kinda obvious why. Like, honestly, if you take a look at the backline, it's just not really the best backline for it. Let's take a look at the next opponent. Here we're going to encounter another Shadow Nidoqueen in the lead, and we're going to see the Scrafty coming back in. Honestly, I thought that this matchup would be a little bit better for me, but as you can see here, Mud Bomb is not going to two-shot them, not even close. I'm going to use a no-shield here as well against the opponent, but as you can see, I am going to get to the next charge move, but it's not going to help me too much, as this Mud Bomb is not going to get them close enough for us to knock them out, but they can farm me down, so I'm in a really tough spot here. I'm going to let this move go through. I'm going to be able to farm them all the way down. They should be able to even swap out eventually. But let's see, I can still go up to another charge move, go for a potential Brave Bird, decide to go for the bait, hoping for the shield, which most likely we're going to get here. So I decide to swap out now into my Whiscash, and now it's going to be up against the Obstagoon. And I was like, my best play here is to just go ahead and go for the Blizzard. Blizzard does, I think, a little bit more damage than 2 Mud Bombs, but also it's just going to allow us to get the farm done afterwards. And yes, the opponent going to let this move go through, allowing us to go for the full farm down against the opponent's Obstagoon. I'm going to let one move go through here as well, and I can go for the full farm down there, and I can even go up to 2 Mud Bombs. I should be fine at this point of time, as they're gonna go for the Poison Fang. They are not going to get to another one in time, and I should just be able to survive this one Poison Jab, as we're going to be able to reach another Mud Bomb here, and this is going to be the knockout against the opponent. Now we can move on into the final game of today's video. The final game of today's video going to be a spicy one. Great lead for us, but we're gonna see now the Porygon Z coming in. Here's the thing. Porygon Z is either running the Zap Cannon or the Solar Beam. One of those going to be it here. Like, we don't know which it's going to be, but I decide to hope that's going to be the Zap Cannon here. And if it's the Solar Beam, I'm going to be screwed. I'm screwed. It's the Solar Beam, and I have not a lot that I can do about it anymore. I have to hope that they're weak in the back, which they kinda are. Like, honestly, they're kinda weak to me in the back. But of course, because I did not get the alignment that I need to have, it's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be a very tricky one, especially as they're running Ancient Power here. I'm going to be forced to go for another Feather Dance, but they're, of course, going to be fairly decent against my Pokemon in the back with the Whiscash against, then again, the opponent's Sceptile. It's not looking too pretty. I'm gonna be forced to go for a Mud Bomb here, and this is going to not really allow us to do anything either, because they're just going to overfarm. And this is going to be it for this game as well. The Solar Beam was a very smart choice there. Honestly, it's a very smart choice in general to pair it with a Grass Type in the lead. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like and check out the videos on the screen, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.